Who here is here for the first time and has never done the AR? You can wave your virtual. Hey,
Nice. What up,
what?
Tanya?
Nice, nice. Glad. Tanya? Is it Tanya? Yay. Cool, cool, cool.
What up, Floyd? Awesome.
That's
Well, I have done AR before, but this is my first time in a meeting.
oh, sweet.
Cool.
Sweet, sweet. And Tanya, is this like the first time ever that you've done this? She's muted.
Sweet. All right. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I got a notification from Google saying I might be removed from the meeting, so I don't know what's going on with Google Meets right now, but hopefully hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, you were all warned. Uh but yeah, so let's go ahead and kick this off. I know some folks are probably watching this on their lunch break at work right now, so kudos to you if you're hiding from the boss, checking out what's going on in AR. But this is going to be our first information session for Balanced Forces NYC. This is around the UN's International Day of Peace. We'll go into that in just a second. But for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Rob McCarty. I'm one of the co-founders of illust. Illust is an augmented reality AR platform. Excuse me. Yeah, that's very redundant. It's an augmented reality studio for creating content and stories that can be deployed into the world. And yeah, we've been in the game for some time now, having built out experiences for really a wide cast of different brands, agencies, creators, industries, the whole 9 yards. And our real goal is to be able to help creators and be able to focus on where we can take over different cities, different towns, so that we can tell our stories and present our artwork all around the world. And yep, my business partner, Tim, he comes from 20 plus years of 3D experience. So no 4D is his weapon of choice. And used to do like tour visuals for Paul McCartney and Coldplay. And I helped work with Meta with launching Spark AR back in 2019. And yeah, learned a lot. And fast forward to 2020, we built out, really launched illust and launched with MF Jim before he had passed away, the first AR NFT. So we're always straddling the line between blockchain and augmented reality. And I don't know if any of y'all are going to be at the On-Chain Summit in SF this weekend, but we'll be up there. It's one of Base's conferences that they're putting on, but should be a good one. So yeah, reach out if y'all are in the neighborhood. We'll let's link up. So yeah, going into what the focus of today's conversations around is a little bit about AR best practices, a little bit of a recap of balanced forces in Port Moody, and then also a little bit about getting ready for this new exhibition that's coming up. So September 21st in New York, around the United Nations, is International Peace Day. And so they're going to be doing a variety of celebrations and focused conversations and really having a moment of pause, given the current landscape, geopolitically, everything that's going on. There's just really having being able to take a breath, fresh air, or at least a moment of pause for everything that's going on in the world. So we figured, and I'll share some of the information from Port Moody, but we figured with the audience that we've been able to work with from our AR creator community, such as yourselves, there's stories from everyone from so many different parts of the world that we want to bring them together to create this augmented reality gallery that would coexist alongside with International Peace Day and more likely around the UN building and the walk that's along, I believe that's East River Hudson. I'm drawing a blank, but anyhow, on the east side, just south of Midtown. And so this is a open call. We are going to have, as part of the open call, we have a Google form, and we may also have another form for that would be separate that we're going to be running through Webby. It's still TBD right now, kind of talking to their team. But the Google form, everything will come together, and we'll have a curation team with JBR, with Sven, and with Crystal, who are the kind of the OGs that helped bring together the first, I almost want to say pilot, which because it was the first one at Port Moody and really helped us flush out the concept. But illust is a collaborator in this whole storyline of balanced forces. So I do want to invite one of my co-collaborators, JBR, onto the stage, I guess, or digital stage, whatever this is. So maybe say a couple words about balanced forces and what's coming up with the curation. Oh, JBR, you're on mute.
Hey, everybody. So, really excited about what's to come, the United Nations International Day of Peace, where I think that I don't really want to talk about who I am or what I do because it's really unnecessary. Um, what I think the visual is for this next curation is bringing sort of in this political stance that we are nationwide. I mean, it's like across the board, across the world, everyone is suffering. And whatever it is that you feel is important to you, for example, if I were to submit something to International Day of Peace, my biggest advocacy for my life, because of my own experiences, is for domestic violence. So how would that look within this, right? So if there is something that you have been trying to express for a long time or that you've been continuously expressing, this is the time to really elevate your work in a magnanimous way where people will see what it is that you've created and go and make them think. And so that I think is, to me, that is the description of what this day means. And it's really about balancing the forces and bringing it all together in unification for one day, for just one day. So, have fun. I cannot wait to see what you all create. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JBR. And yeah, as she had mentioned, we'll be on site. So I'll share with you a little bit about how everything ran for with the last balance forces at Port Moody. Just kind of share with you what we're planning on. But yeah, it's we're also collaborating with some of the UN groups that are going to be there. So we're still trying to figure out in terms of location. I know that in the last time I spoke, that was also something that we're trying to lock down. So, but we will figure it out here soon. I got a call from them last night at about midnight, so I guess maybe they found something quickly. But anyhow, so moving into just a little bit of a recap. So as we're kind of planning for this exhibition, oh, hey, sorry, that was really extreme. Uh, basically, we have Crystal on the far left on this. She came in. We were able to get some good publicity around what happened in Port Moody. The video on the right is a little bit of like a recap of going out and exploring the artworks. A lot of social media content, a lot of content was created, and I think that was really a winning formula for just getting the awareness. I'll share some of the stats here in just a second, but yeah. So essentially, what happened at Port Moody, for those of you who weren't participating, so we hosted a international but also local AR art walk. All of the artworks were part of this curated map, Balance Forces curated map. And each one of these waypoints that was on the map was a link to a different work of art. And so there were, along this, it was the Shoreline Trail, close to 45 works of art. that were essentially geotethered for people from the community to be able to go out and be able to engage with. And over that time, we had really hundreds of digital works that were sent out to from all over. So we had like France, Scotland, Kazakhstan, Japan, Iran, Malaysia, Greece, Israel, Germany, USA, like all across, of course, Canada, really all across the world that came in. And so that was really, that was really impressive just from, really everyone's hard work of sharing about participating, Sven, JVR, Crystal. Yeah, and it's great to meet some new faces along the way. And, we're really excited about really fostering this community. So, yeah, I really appreciate you all participating for those who did. And now we figured let's open the opportunities up even more as we talk about international collaboration. So, figured that would make a lot of sense from New York. So just some quick screenshots from some of the works that were tethered using the application. So as a mixture of 3D, of 2D, AI generated, of Blender, or some 4D generated, all different styles, photography, poetry and cues, the whole nine yards. So a lot of different works were on display at Port Moody. It was a variety. And it really came through in the statistics as well. So across all of social between X and IG, there were over 100,000 organic views. We didn't do any paid adverts around this one, but it's not to say in the future that we might not be able to broadcast through paid ads they spend on social. But so 100,000 organic views is pretty freaking good. We sent over 31,000 emails. So maybe some of you all are fatigued from how many emails we sent, but nonetheless, it seemed like it really turned into a lot of participation from both folks that were there and also the creators that were involved. We hosted a workshop, or a last like a recap show. It was our first time doing a recap show, so we worked out some kinks, definitely learned some things, but we were pretty stoked. We had about 300 people show up in total for the recap show, just online. And then, we had about 250 posts of user-generated content. And I thought that was really, really powerful. It's kind of this idea that we're all in this together. And when we kind of band together to be able to post around a common event or a shared moment, it really creates this like network effect and really accelerates the distribution. So we're going to look into that again for this next exhibition and find ways so that when we all kind of share together, it broadcasts all of the works that might be involved in the collection. So some good learnings taken from that one. And then of course the experiences on site. So looking at the stats, we had over 2,500 art pieces that were rendered in AR scene. We had 700 visitors to the AR art walk, unique visitors, not just repeats. And I think this was my favorite stat was that we had about 7 minutes of engagement time per user. So whether that be just because they were forced down a specific trail and they couldn't really go anywhere else, or they were looking for something to do, that was just something that we figured was really powerful. This is something that we're hoping to continue to replicate. Also, through intentional design with the application too. We've had some good conversations about that. So, so we're about to jump into some of like the more workshop-y, information session-y kind of things. So, we're going to be doing again a 1-month free promo code for first-time creators to our platform. So for those of you who haven't used it before, this QR code goes to the application. If you use it's all caps, BF-NYC-piece. If you're a first-time creator using the studio, we'll be able to provide free access to participate in this exhibition. And so, that's we really want to like lower the barriers to entry for giving it a try. And So that's what that's all about. So let's go ahead and jump into why AR, this kind of stuff. There are some new faces here, but I know a lot of you might be fatigued again from a lot of the hearing about this. But to run it back, why AR for me at least? There's still very much a rich novelty / magic that happens when people experience AR, and there's of course the entertainment value of it, but also like scientifically, physiologically rather, people actually create real memories through an augmented reality experience. And so when you visualize something that's in your environment, the smells, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, all of that goes to reinforce the experience that you're having with the underlying material. So as an artist, you get to connect with your audience in a deeper and more enriching way. But also AR is just accessible with mobile devices. You don't necessarily need to have wearable glasses to have a good AR experience. And when you were talking about using the web browser, you're also able to get around a lot of the restrictions. Like native applications aren't allowed in a lot of countries. So by running in the browser, we can reach that other 3 billion global users that don't have access to native apps. And then on top of that, by using this kind of format, we can be able to figure out who's checking out the art pieces, where are they checking it out, what time are they checking it out, if they decide to opt in with certain data sets, like who it is, what's their email, how do you start to engage with your customers in a different environment. And yeah, I think that it's a good bet because big tech for sure has been investing heavily on the wearable side. Again, we'll see when that plays out. I'm not setting my clocks to wearables, but I'm going to be really excited once they do have some sort of critical mass. But like, I mean, everyone has their hat in the ring. Google just partnered up with Samsung for Android XR, which is going to be a direct threat to Facebook's Orion, which is then Lens Studio just welcomed WebXR into their wearables ecosystem. So big tech, and then also the 800-pound gorilla that is Apple. They're pushing updates every single day. We have some friends that work over here in Venice Beach at the Apple on that specific product. Can't give away too much, but there's some pretty exciting stuff happening in that field. But again, not setting our clocks to it. Mobile-based AR still creates such a unique relationship between the creator and the audience. So that being said, Gen Z is spending more time on Roblox than they are on TikTok. And they're more willing to spend on their avatar customization than their actual physical fashion. So they're just they're a 3D native audience. So they expect their content to have that kind of immersion level for them to relate to their character. And they're also hard to capture their attention. So, yeah. So going into, nice stat there, Floyd. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and then also onto Zen's point, everyone share your socials in the chat too. I think that's a great idea. Because there's folks that could probably do everything in this chat right now, across the whole spectrum. So, but yeah, going back into some of the project planning, we always look at like the who, what, where, when, and how before we set up a campaign, whether that be for an agency or whether that be for just our own artwork. It's all about the story that we're looking to tell. And sometimes, the story that we're looking to tell could be dictated based upon where it's being positioned. So you want to know, how do you communicate with your audience? Where are they located? What time of day or when do you want to connect with them? Why is it important for you to tell the story or to share your art with this group? And what's the content itself? What do you want to share? And then there's also the how you do share this content. So through the AR lens, and there's so many different types of, I guess, you can kind of call it like a game loop, but these different loops of ways of people experiencing something. So you could have like just the gallery loop or the sculpture garden loop. You could have like a face effect or a face filter style kind of try it on, like a try on loop. You could have these like activated image targets, which are kind of like almost like a loot box loop, where you don't know what's going to be underneath the surface until you activate it. Then you have, these kind of like informational guided tours. You can do these product visualizations. Then, of course, there's different game loops like scavenger hunts, Easter egg hunts, the whole 9 yards. So the how is also really important. The how that we're doing for the activation and NYC is really is that kind of that combination of a sculpture garden meets scavenger hunt type loop. The scavenger hunt is a little bit more spoon fed to the end audience because also it's new technology. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to stay on course, stay on the track. Now I think this slide, it's been, I was really impressed with this last exhibition of how many folks were able to take their ideas and turn them into reality with tools that just made it really easy. 5 years ago, I remember toiling over like specifically After Effects, like really just trying to work on my like 3D chops, like playing around with Blender, Unity. Before that, it just took a long time for me to get to a point where I'm like, oh, I'm satisfied with like what I created. But now with a lot of these tools like Meshy, I was like Trippo, and like they're coming out every day, the barriers to entry and creation have really lowered. So you can get to a point of from having an idea to actually executing it much, much, much quicker. And for that reason, it's also made it a lot more like our studio has also become a ground where you can start publishing anything that you produce from these AI libraries like immediately into the world. So there's also the way that you could purchase assets too. But I mean, I think what's gonna be interesting is see how these AI tools also kind of compete with the Sketchpads and CG traders, the turbo splits. But what's fun is that you can bring your 3D object into our studio, and then you can also play around with the materials with our material editor. So if you can kind of remix to the point of what you want to be shown on location. And then, and if you're also looking for like ideas, we do have some internal abilities to help out. We do have like a creative agency, so the team can help out when it comes to that. But yeah, you can basically upload really any kind of media format into our platform, so long as they follow this like the specific file types, which are MP4, MOV, PNG, JPEG, and then on the 3D side, GLB is really important for 3D, MP3 for audio, and there might be some wiggle room, but we don't GIFs don't necessarily work in our platform, but if you convert them to video, they'll work, and they'll autoplay as well, and they'll loop. So you get most of the effect of a GIF without a big GIF file. So about our studio, it's no code. We're trying to make it easier to use, but it seems like for the most part, folks have found it to be relatively straightforward, at least compared to the other platforms, which doesn't seem like it's as much of a high bar because a lot of them are very intimidating and hard to approach. With the Discovery app, you don't have to download an app to check out the AR experiences in the world. It's a QR code or URL, and you go right into the experience. We're working on some more of our blockchain. That's why we're going to be going to the base conference this weekend. We're working to bring the Polygon contracts over to base for minting, for our geospatial registry, and for our proof of presence protocol. If all that sounds foreign to y'all, that's totally fair. Basically, we're trying to make it so that our platform's decentralized and that creators can instill their IP rights to whatever they produce or publish. Something that was not mentioned, that's a little Easter egg, is that if you want to host your artwork locally on your own, like through your own storage, we have a way for you to sideload your artworks into our platform so that A, it doesn't take up space on your account. And B, you have control over the storage, so you're not relying on our servers or anything like that. And then we're continuing to work on more education, more tools. and more opportunities for y'all to get your artwork out there. So, yeah, so a little bit about the studio. So there's some basic modules that we have. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just switch gears over into just a quick visualization of the studio. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. There we go. Cool. So we're on the homepage of the studio. So we had just logged in. It's at ar.illust.space/admin. When you first arrive, the banner won't necessarily be there, but there will be a big button that says create your first AR experience. Right now, it just kind of resides right here in the corner. If I click this button, and now it brings me into this 3D scene. So the 3D scene, this warehouse, doesn't really have much jurisdiction when it comes to what you see in AR. It's really just so you can be able to visualize maybe where you're setting up your experience. There is a way you can change out the HDR environment map if you want to. Not required. But let's go ahead and just kind of get a baseline experience in here. So I'm going to call this demo for NYC. As you see, I put the name in here. It comes up as the title. So this is the title of the work or the AR scene. I click generate on the slug. It generates a URL. I would always make sure you click generate. And if there's a lot of spaces in between here, then what will happen is this is actually like a web address. This is like what you see up here. So if you have spaces, it's going to create like a bunch of dashes, which could look a little wonky. So I just recommend that you try and keep it, nothing too intense or too many dashes up here. Otherwise, they'll translate that. But just FYI, but now you see it just generated demo dash. So there's no spaces because it's the website. Author is me. This is
Sorry, could I ask you one question? Can you recreate the slug each time?
so
Like,
well, if you had the same slug, it's basically like saying you're gonna put in the exact same web address each time. So it's not going to. You need to have a unique web address for each art piece. So say this art piece, what you do is if you create a slug and it's demo, this is basically what it's saying is it's adding this to the very end of your URL.
Okay.
So for you to be able to, what could create an issue though is if you just try to use the same one every single time, it's just going to keep overriding whatever the other AR scenes are. So it could create some sort of glitch. That's why we recommend using generate.
Okay.
So that it's going to create a unique one for every single art piece without having issues. Yep. What's up, Javier?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that as we were curating, there was a particular artist that had one title. Oh, it was H. There was one title for all of the pieces, and I think that we kind of maybe need to maybe just elaborate a little bit about maybe
Okay.
what happened then, and how we can fix that moving forward.
Yeah. So, okay, I think I see what you're saying, Jennifer. I might have been a little bit off base there. So you can in theory have the same title of the artwork multiple times, but it's a requirement that it has a different slug. So you could have NYC-1, NYC-2, -3, because that will show up as the unique piece. But yes, you'll see in our studio we have I'll just go to actually there we go. That's one of the works that I was checking out from your collection. But let's see. We just quickly just pull this up. Let it load for a second. It's loading thousands of artworks. So it's just slow right now. Um, so yeah, there's a couple that have like the same name. Uh, but yeah, you can you're able to kind of go in and we just kind of change out A, B, C just for reference. But anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let me just quickly, Halima, let me just quickly share the about, and then I'll tap you on to ask your question. So the description shows up in the AR scene as more information about the art piece. And then, yeah, we'll actually just use this image that we used for the title. And let me go ahead and zoom in. All right. So yeah, as you can see, as soon as I upload an image, it automatically generates a lighting system and a shadow, which I can then change in the lighting module. I could change the color of the lighting. I could just turn off the lighting system. I want to keep it back on. I could change out the direction of the light, the color of the light source. I could play around with like the density of the actual of the shadow itself, as well as the shadow map size if I want to go into it. But yeah, or I could just turn them off altogether. Let's bring this back to default. And then if I want to add, if I want to change like the size of the object to go into world tracking, and then I change the scale, so I can make it bigger. And then I can change the position, so I want it to float off the ground. Change that. Now it's floating off the ground. And if I want to give it a little bit of rotation, I can add an angle that I want to be rotated. So if I take out the negative, it'll then flip. So now it flips 180. But these are all little things just kind of embellish the scene a bit more. But yeah, Halima, you have your hand raised.
Oh, yes. This is for JBR. Was it my work? Because you said H. I'm by H. Okay, so when I thought it automatically, the slug automatically populated because I don't remember touching it.
The slug was good. I think where it got a little confusing was it's just the same title of the work.
Oh, okay, because it was a series. So should I put a one after it or the title or two or?
Yeah, I would definitely title them separately so that we know when we're going through it. Also, I think too there was a kind of a somehow. Robin and I need to talk about this later, but yeah, I think that titling each is, even if it is in a series,
Okay,
it's kind of important to do that for sure.
gotcha.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Each, or if it is part of a series, I would just upload. So this was another question that came up a bunch where it's like, what's the studio URL? So when I was asking for the studio URL from some of the creators, it's this URL that's up here. So every single art piece in our system has its own special URL. So if I were to copy this and then paste it somewhere else, it'll bring you right back into the studio itself. But there's also like an AR URL, which is separate. And the AR URLs are these ones right here, where you can generate the AR preview or the AR preview. So when we're asking on the submission form, like what's the studio URL, we're asking for the one that we're asking for this one that's tied to the work that you're working on in the studio. Okay. And I apologize. There's so many different URLs, so it's totally makes sense that it is a little confusing. But yeah, so when you're submitting a work, you can submit multiple works. What would probably be the easiest for us on the curation side, or at least I'm doing the organization and then JVR is doing the curation, as well as Sven and Crystal. But if you do a separate submission for each work, So rather than adding a bunch of URLs of all the works you're submitting, I would just go through and fill out the form again if you're going to submit more than one. That'll help us with the cleanliness of the Excel
Yeah.
file.
Okay. And also, this is for the September 21st one. We don't have an opportunity for a series. There's only one we're submitting, right?
It's only going to be one, but if you want to add more works around the area, you're more than welcome to do that on your own. But I would submit each one separately to us. We're going to choose one, but you can use the AR platform at any point to create your own, collection of works. They'll be shown on the global map no matter what.
Okay. You're going to give us the coordinates, so it's something we have to figure out.
Yeah. Well, for your own personal, wherever you want to place in the world is all up to you. But for the exhibition, we'll show the coordinates where we want.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Which also brings up another question. So I've had some folks asking in the past, hey, why is my artwork not showing up on the global map? This toggle needs to be on, which is just under like the general data, like the main hub. This needs to be on for it to show up on the global map. So if this is off, your pin will not show up. Just FYI. Yeah, I know that we're running low on time here, so
There's some great questions in the chat, Rob.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly share with you all. So that was a 2D piece, and then I'm just going to share real quick. If you have a 3D piece, you might notice that a new module shows up. And this module is the report material editor. So this is where you can actually change out the materials. And we also support video textures. But you can choose your material right here and then switch it out with whatever you want. So you can start playing around with the actual model itself. But yeah, so let me go ahead and run through some of these questions. And then I also know that some folks do have a hard stop in 2 minutes, so I want to be fair with your time. But yeah, maybe JBR, would you want to kind of help figure out what questions would be good to run through?
Sure. Sure, no problem. Let's see. So how many AR works are we allowed to submit for the New York UN program?
You can submit as many works as you like, but one work will be, we're only selecting one work from each artist who are selected.
Cool. And let's see. Can you upload a video loop?
Absolutely. You can upload a video. In fact, I think the next we're going to do a workshop as part of this series of information. I think the next one we're going to do is maybe a hologram. So we can walk you through the process of making holograms.
Cool. And then Zen asked, what does the signed off version toggle do?
Okay. That's a great question, Zen. So there is, Mark, this is sign off version. If I click this button, there is a pre-selection. Okay, let me reset this real quick. So I do need to save this work. I haven't really changed anything else on it. If I go back to the studio, click this button real quick, and there's a little UI that says load up. If I click signed off, it shows all the works that I've clicked as signed off. So we were doing this for version control, but basically, if you mark it off as signed off, then there's a button here that you can use to like pre-select all the ones that were like quote unquote finished works. It's some UI that some people find it useful, some people don't, but that's what it does. Is it helps you figure out if you're like, yeah, this is a finished work or not. If you think that's a valuable feature, we could add like a check mark or something too. like right here, so you know, like, oh, this is been checked off as a signed off version. But yeah, that's what I mean.
Cool, cool. There's 3 more questions. I'm
Okay.
gonna ask, what's an NFT tag?
Or was it
Some-
in a studio? Was it NSC or NFT? It was in one of the, it was in one of the slides.
Oh, then the slides. NFC tag. Yeah.
It was C. Okay.
Yeah. So near field communication. So it'd be like a little device, a little piece of hardware you could put in a sticker, or you could put on a wall, and you can tap it, and then it sends the URL to your phone automatically without you having to fiddle with typing it in or anything. But yeah. So let's see here. Maybe this is where, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Any more questions?
Yes. So the location is East River Hudson, south of Midtown. Is that confirmed, or are we still not sure?
It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
But that's where we're thinking right now, at least.
Okay. And then Beatrice, finally, can we invite our team to that other workshop to prep for the UN event?
Yeah. I'm thinking the other workshop is going to be a little bit more studio specific,
Video intense, yeah.
and we'll run through. Maybe I'll do like a little survey after this of like what specific feature or tutorial you want to walk through, just so we can like make sure we're hitting the right thing.
Okay, finally, Tanya asked if the pieces can be monetized.
Not through our
Great question.
We'd absolutely love for you all to make money from your artwork. Our platform isn't the one necessarily that's doing the marketplace. But if you have, you have it listed on Super Rare, Rareable, wherever Hickok Nook or Object rather now.
For
Hyperlink to that marketplace in the ARC. But cool. Is that at least for the questions?
That's it. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, just kind of wrapping things up here. These are just a little bit about like best practices. Like kind of thinking about like where's the foot traffic going to be, is always a good thought process. What potential locations can I partner with to broadcast my QR code or my work. I think that's something that we're really excited about, and just talking to some other creators, like they've partnered up with like dispensaries, coffee shops, just to say like, hey, would you be down? So I want a place for my artwork to live, and they're looking for foot traffic. So they're able to broadcast, hey, like I'll tell all my audience to go check it out at this coffee shop or at this dispensary or at this like place with venue. So that I felt like that was pretty enterprising from some of the creators using the studio, creating those like win-wins. But yeah, and then these are more for kind of like the simple AR preview is the simple AR experience. The spatial AR preview is the more world/discovery app experience. And when in doubt, refresh the studio. If you do something you don't see it, save it and refresh it, and usually you'll clear the cache by doing that. I'm just gonna fast forward just because we're empty on time. But about like deployment checklist. Is your model optimized? Is it really big or is it really small? Because based upon where you're sharing your art piece, it might be on low service. So just try and always optimize the model. 10 to 15 megabytes is always recommended. You can go lower. I mean, it's recommended to go lower. You can go higher, but the bigger the file size, the longer it might take to load on location.
So there's a couple more questions that have popped up. Tanya asked if
Looks like here. Just let me get through this slide, and then I'll be able to finish off the questions. So if the geofence, just make sure the geofence is wide enough. I wouldn't touch it for the New York one because New York, it's going to be auto set to 10. Show map is turned on. We just went through that. It's in English for the NYC one, but always try to speak to the copy of where you're sharing your artwork. So it's it works that way. And then share your art pieces to your link trees or reshare what we post going through the exhibition. Some of the JBR. Let's go for it.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Tanya asked if the artwork can be in more than one location.
Yeah, so it's one AR scene, one location. There is a button where you can actually duplicate the AR experience. So if you do want to say duplicate this work and then geotether it to another location, you can do that. Just recommend that maybe you say like this is experience NYC-1 or East Village or whatever you want to do that. If you do duplicate it, it will change the slug as well, just FYI, which is good.
And then finally, where will this recording be housed so that folks can refer to?
Totally. So this will be, we're going to send out an email Monday, Tuesday. That's kind of the cadence that we do. Next Wednesday will be a workshop, which will be a little bit more like heavier in the studio. We'll do a TBD on exactly what we're going to be going into, but I believe holograms would be a good one, which is using our chroma key as well as using our streaming texture system. And then if we have time, happy to do any other modules that y'all are interested in. But we'll be sending out an email blast, and then it's also going to be on our YouTube channel. I'm going to try and have it on our YouTube channel by ideally trying to get it done by end of day today for the YouTube channel. And then here's our YouTube channel too. Let's see if this is helpful, but we added like a bunch of tutorials to our YouTube channel. And then we have like different playlists on the YouTube channel. So we have like some of the information sessions and things like that. Yeah, and then again, here's the QR code with the promo code. And yeah, I guess let's see. Robo, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, bro, I just had a quick question. How big can these be?
Yeah, like the actual like
Let's say, like, can it be like 15 feet tall, or that kind of question?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the way that we recommend, if you want to scale up the size of the model or the experience to be really large, so it's you have to take into account where if someone's coming up with their phone and looking at something, and say you had something that was like a foot by a foot that was right in front of you, if you scale that foot to a foot to be, say, 20 feet, someone's going to pull out their phone and they're going to see just like all black or something like that. They're like, what's going on? They might have to take a step back. So if you do change the scale, I would put it further back in the Z distance. So that way, when they open it up, they see it's big, but it's further away from them. So the perspective shows the size of it. But yeah, you can go as big as you want. It's just really like, I just tested out in the studio preview. And that'll help. Yeah, what's up, JBR?
Yeah, if I may just add to that, when we were putting together all of the website images, I came across, I couldn't tell you which ones, but I came across a lot of images that when I pulled it up, it was either really, really too small, or it was on the ground. So if it laid too close to the ground, then you really had to sort of maneuver and try and figure out how to find the image in order to sort of lift it up and then capture it. So placement, I think, is kind of important with this as well. Just be really cognizant and perhaps check it on your own phone before you actually land the piece on the map. That's just my
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's cool, Tanya. Or Tanya. I think if you just let us know before you do it, um, just because what we don't want to have happen is that the underlying experience has changed out. But if it's like a little tweak where you want to say you played around with it, and you want it to be a little bit bigger, you want to add a little bit of animation, that's okay. Um, but as long as the underlying work itself doesn't change, like the body of work, then that's okay. But yeah, I also wanted to share with y'all. We're gonna be doing a new update to the application on Monday. So I just want to give you all a heads up that Monday, everything should go smoothly according to plan. Sometimes development things happen and we might need to reel it back, but just want to give you all a heads up on Monday. We're going to be pushing a new update to the app. So, yeah. I love that, Floyd. That is hilarious.
Boy, I receive all of that.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love that, Floyd. I want to share that in the next newsletter as if you don't mind me quoting you on that one.
Yes, the research. All right.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry, is it Tanya or Tanya? Oh, I can't hear you.
Go ahead and unmute Tanya.
Looks like it's her audio is just not coming in.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Tanya.
Okay, she's gonna type it in. Yeah, no worries, Lima. Have a good one. Yeah, if y'all have to jump off, no worries. I'm gonna stick around for probably another 3 or 4 minutes. So, yeah, awesome. That's a great question. Um, so what we might recommend is that maybe you by all means submit artwork that you feel like maybe explores a topic that might be sensitive like that. It's a really good question because we don't want to be censoring, especially if it's a powerful story. But I also thinking about the audience that we're going to be running tours through is going to be also the other part of it. So if it's something that there's definitely like kind of a line where that we'll have to try and maybe like the curation team will have to figure out at least for this one, because it could be about conflict. It could be about, a war torn area. It could be something that's kind of graphic that was experienced. That's true. But if it's fitting underneath like the directions of what the curation team is looking for, then it might work. But it's I don't, at least for me, like with the AR platform, we don't want to restrict your creative freedoms. Like we want you to create and tell the stories that you want to tell. For the exhibition, though, I think maybe JBR and Sven and Crystal, we can come up with an idea, like some guidelines if it is something that might be a little bit more graphic, because it could really very much tell the story as well. So, sorry, it's kind of like a half-assed answer. It's like we got to figure that one out. Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Awesome. Very cool. Any last questions before we jump off?
Hey Rob, if any of us need help, are you the only contact point? I know you're going to be super busy, so like, are you the only one that could like really walk us through some things if we need that one-on-one or, you know, anything like that? Because again, I know you got a lot going on, so I don't want to overload you with things as well.
It's no worries. So I think what we might do is like office hours, more or less, where we do probably on a Friday, maybe around the same time on a Friday, where I'm just gonna turn my computer on and just be available for that. Makes it a lot easier for me with my schedule. It's just like carve out an hour and a half, just be available for troubleshooting questions people might have. Um, you know, saying what's up. But that at least gives me like, instead of being like pulled in different directions all day. So that could very well work.
I like that idea for you, man, because I've been worried about that.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a great, it's a, as the community grows, and I think as we get more familiar with the tools too, like it's something where other folks, I feel like I've seen the other folks also like help explain to things to other people too. So it's all a work in progress, but yeah, I think like an office hours on Friday would probably, just for troubleshooting stuff, would be useful.
Yeah, bro, keep us posted, please, because yeah, I'd like to I probably need some help or whatever eventually, so it'd be good. Just let me know. Let us know.
Sick. Sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for jumping into the official information session #1 for NYC Balanced Forces. Looking forward to seeing what you all come up with, and yeah, be on the lookout for the next workshop, office hours, recap vid, and locations. So, with that being said, we'll catch you all later, and happy ARing. Have a good one. See y'all.
Much love.
Boom,